Hi, my name is Tara Coleman and I am a clinical nutritionist. One of the first questions that I get from everyone is, what does a nutritionist do? And although I can't speak for the entire industry, I can tell you what I do with each one of my clients. The first thing that we do is we sit down for about an hour-long intake, and I listen to them. I figure out, I listen to what their symptoms are, what their family history is, what their goals are, what they're looking for. I'm also interested in what their lifestyle is like. I think one of the problems with the health and wellness industry is we're all looking for a one-size-fits-all approach, and quite frankly, that just doesn't work. So even if we were all supposed to eat the exact same way, everyone's different. Some people like to cook, some people hate cooking, some people want to spend a ton of money on food, some people can't afford to do that. Some people are picky eaters and some people will eat everything that you put in front of them. So it's very important for me to understand not only what my clients' symptoms are, what their goals are, but what they're willing to do and what their lifestyle is going to entail. The next thing I do is I teach them. I'm a firm believer in, if you don't understand why you're doing something, you aren't going to stick with it. Anyone can, follow someone else's guidelines for a short period of time, but if you haven't really internalized why you're doing something, then you're going to fall off the wagon very, very quickly. So what I like to do is teach each one of my clients what's happening in their body, how eating a certain way is going to help them reach their goals, and how it's going to make them feel. That way, even when we stop working together, they understand why they're doing it, and it's a long-term change rather than a short-term. After that, I demonstrate. I give them a meal plan. Words are words and they're all great, but what does that mean? What does everything I just said, what does that mean when they're at the grocery store? What does that mean when they're, out to dinner with their family? How can they make choices there? So what I like to do then is give them a meal plan, which isn't something that they necessarily have to follow exactly, but it's a guideline. It's an example of how you take the philosophies we've just talked about and translate that into their everyday life. And then finally I support. It's my job to make this transition easier, but change is hard. Change is hard for everyone. So what I do with each of my clients is I talk to them on a weekly basis, and that's a chance for me to check in and say, have them say, Tara, I'm doing great, I'm so proud of myself, or Tara, I had a really hard time this week and I'm struggling with this, this, and this. It gives me a chance to support them, to answer their questions, to give them examples and modify their meal plan, or to just tell them I'm proud of them because they're doing such a great job. So really, any nutritionist that you're looking for, you really need to make sure that they're not only going to give you a cookie cutter plan, but they're going to give you a plan that's going to work for you and your lifestyle. If you're interested in more videos on the topic of health and nutrition, you can view them at taracoleman.mywebvideo.net.